I'm going to show you how to make a color flow butterfly. When you're making butterflies in cookie, there is no wrong. You know, it's your creation, so you do what you like. So today I've mixed up some red, yellow, and white. So first off, you section off your cookie into the parts you want to decorate. So here I've cut it up in 4, and we're going to start with the bottom sections. This is, if you've been watching my videos, I call it quilting. When we separate the cookie like this, it allows you to really pop up your icing and have individual sections, make it look like an actual thing, not a flat drawing, and it really makes it interesting. So now I've just flooded that in black, quite simply, and now I'm taking some red and I'm making a simple dot, and because of the consistency of the icing, it will sink. And now I'm taking a toothpick and I'm pulling up, dragging, and I'm wiping with my finger in between the drags, since the other color is black, to avoid it being dragged. So now I'm taking some yellow, placing a dot in the red, and I will take another, again with the black, and I'm going in the middle of the yellow, and there we go. So there's the bottom part of the butterfly. And if we look at actual butterflies, they often have these areas at the bottom that look like eyes. So now for the 2 top parts, I would suggest you do them separately instead of together like I just did, because they're larger and they could crust. So I suggest now that you wait for the tail part to crust, because here I just realized if I start now, it'll blend together. So we're going to let this sit. So for the second section of the cookie, I recommend that you work at one small part at a time. And so now I'm going to be outlining that in black flood icing. So I'm outlining the outside area here next to where I outlined, so that I'll have something to actually drag, so that my icing will drag. And I need here in between my colors, so over here I have white, here's the yellow, and the last is the red. And now with the toothpick, I'm going to be dragging from the black to the center over here, and I'm using the cutter's shape. It's kind of a guide to where I want to have my lines. And so here I'm banging this out now. I have some dots, so I'm just going to white dots here, bigger to smaller, and a black one inside of that, and now a yellow one. And bang that out. Now at this point you want to wait till it's completely dry, probably overnight, before we do the body of the butterfly, because I would like to have the body have sanding sugar for it to look more authentic. So there we go. I'm going to finish off the butterfly cookie. Now this cookie has dried overnight. Because I'm going to be making the body and then adding sanding sugar. So if I'm working on this little center part to add sanding sugar and I sprinkle the cookie, if this area is at all wet, the sanding sugar will stick to those spots where I don't want it to be. And so that's why it's important to let the cookies really dry overnight. And when you look at a cookie, you can see it's more shiny if the area is wet. Now this one is completely dry. I'm going to work in here. This is a bead tray. You can get that at the craft store. I use this because it facilitates getting the sanding sugar back in the bottle. And so I start from the butterfly's head, and I pipe a dot, and I do bead like here, shell, whatever technique, and I just pull down, and it creates like, and then here I pull at the tail, so it creates little bumps simulating the body. And so here I have a yellow base icing, and I'm sprinkling in black sanding sugar. You can pour, doesn't matter, the excess will be collected here in the tray. And so because I use the black sanding sugar and yellow icing, I can see a bit of the yellow peeking through for the body, and the sanding sugar gives it shine. It gives it another texture to differentiate from the wings, and it just makes it a little bit more visually interesting. It gives it some dimension here, if you can see the body sticking out a bit. The top of my head didn't get any sanding sugar here, the top of the butterfly's head, so I'm just going to add a bit. And as you can see here on the body, there's no sanding sugar. So by waiting overnight, you can see that the wings are pretty clean of sanding sugar. You can have a brush handy just to dust it off. It's not that it's glued on, it's just a little bit stuck in the crevices of the details of the cookie. But here you go, a perfect cookie, and it's as easy as that.